Hello and welcome to the first of my build videos. I'm going to be talking about my combat medic today. This is the first of the build videos I'm planning on doing. I have several different builds and multiple characters I'm going to be talking about, but this is the first one. So this character, let's start out with the special stats and why I'm using Unyielding. So the way this character's set up, you want to be doing a lot of VATS in order to help heal your party using a weapon like the Medic's. Using the Medic's ability, every time you do a critical hit in VATS, you heal your party members that are nearby. So you are more of a utility character for your party, helping them out, healing them, giving them buffs, increasing their damage, just trying to help in whatever situation you are finding yourself in, whether it's a Scorched Beast Queen or fighting a Sheepsquatch or just doing an event, whatever you're planning on doing. So even a 1-star Medic's Handmade would be fine. Or alternatively, you could use a 10mm pistol just because it has very low VATS cost for the shots. In order to get the maximum amount out of your AP and your crit damage. But I'm using the Handmade for my build. You can see the mods on it are Powerful Automatic Receiver, Stabilized Long Barrel just to make it where I have better accuracy at range. You can go single action if you want to, just to save on bullets, but I do like the automatic just for situations where you might find yourself getting in trouble. You can kind of lay on the trigger and be able to get out of them fairly easily. Precise Grip gives us a little bit better recoil, and also it helps with our AP cost slightly. Stinging Magazine gives us a 35-round clip as well as some armor penetration. Reflex Sight also helps with the VATS cost, and a suppressor just helps us stay stealthy and lets us do our solo stuff. I also, whenever I'm soloing, I use a bloodied Handmade, so that way I can get the most out of my damage when I'm playing alone. But that's not really the point of it, and as you can see, I'm using Unyielding. I have 4 Unyielding pieces. I just try to find ones that increase a stat in some way, and then 1 Chameleon piece. You can go all 5 Unyielding pieces if you would like, just to get that little bit of extra stat bonus. Usually when I'm doing a Scorched Beast Queen, I try to run around 50% or less on my health and where my Unyielding pieces, that way I'm getting the most out of my action point bar, which you can see is 290 is how many action points I have with myself being at 58 health. My mutations, I really don't use a whole lot. The Speed Demon, I use that for faster reload. You really don't notice a huge difference in how much your food and thirst goes down, but the movement speed and the reload speed is extremely important. It's very nice. Adrenal Reaction, of course, it also helps push your damage since you're already running at low health points with your Unyielding. To get more out of your action points, you're going to increase your damage naturally. Marsupial just gives you that extra carry weight and the jump. It's pretty much a staple for any build that you're going to be doing. And Carnivore, it's not necessary, but you can use it. Optionally, you could also use Talons to get some extra critical damage, which I do not. And Bird Bones, you can also use that as well to decrease your fall speed, but I do not like the strength decrease. It cuts down on the amount of stuff that I can carry. That's why I don't use it for this character. But yeah, you can kind of do what you want. That's usually the traditional build is Adrenal Reaction, Marsupial, Speed Demon, Bird Bones, and Talons. So if you're interested in doing that, let's take a look at the cards. And I kind of set it up here. So I run 4 Strength. I run 3 in Traveling Pharmacy because I want to be able to carry as many stim packs, rataways as I can. Whenever you're helping revive people maybe during a Scorch Beast Queen or something like that. You're going to need a lot of stim packs, so that way you're not running out for whenever you need them for yourself. And there's another reason why you want to use some stim packs. Bandolier, just to help reduce my weight on my ammunition. This one's completely optional. You can just carry a moderate amount of ammunition, and you really won't need this. But it does allow you to carry several thousand rounds and not over encumber yourself with ammunition. Then our perception, we got 5. We got 1 of each of the commando perks, Master Commando, Commando, and Commando Expert, just to get that 10% from each one. If we were more of a damage build, we would be wanting to obviously max those out and go with 3 stars on each. But since we are a support character, we just want the maximum amount of damage for the lowest amount of action point, or lowest amount of card cost. So for 3, we get 30% damage, and if we were wanting to max it out, it would be another 6 to get another 30. So we want that. I run 1 tank killer. You can run things like long shot, but I like this just for the armor penetration. I do fight a lot of Scorch Beasts and super mutants, so the armor penetration I like, and the chance to stagger is kind of nice as well whenever you're accidentally running into things up close. And concentrated fire is pretty self-explanatory. You want to have this because you want to be able to target head. If you're fighting a Scorch Beast Queen, you want to be able to target her wings to put her on the ground. So it's a very, very useful perk to have. Endurance is kind of, they're very situational depending on whatever you're doing, whatever you're planning on doing. Whenever I'm just running around doing my own thing, I kind of use photosynthetic and rejuvenated. Gives you that little bit of extra action points bonus. Unless you're, every 5 to 10 minutes eating a little more food, drinking a little more water, you're really not going to stay well fed and well hydrated to get the maximum amount out of this. And endurance are very situational perks. As you can see, the 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. I'm getting a health regen. It's not always going to be 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. So you can kind of do what you want with the endurance. I mean, you could even cut it down to 1 endurance if you want to add another point, say, into strength, so you can go with the second bandolier, or maybe add more to intelligence, whatever you want to do. But endurance isn't necessary. You're not going to find yourself dying more by having 1 less endurance. But it's kind of whatever you want to do with them. These are not very important to the build. I'm going to skip over in Charisma and come back and talk about all the different cards you can use, because there are so many utility cards depending on what you're doing. In Intelligence, I run 5 Gunsmith just for being able to keep my gun from breaking as much as possible. You can also run something like First Aid, as well as Nerd Rage. If you're farming by yourself, you can use Nerd Rage to get some extra damage whenever you're running around at your low health, as well as some damage resistance, some AP regen. It's a really nice perk, and I would probably do like 3 Nerd Rage and then 2 into Gunsmith, just to keep from using all your repair on fixing your weapons. But it's kind of up to you. I just went with the 5 Intelligence because I wanted to make sure I had Gunsmith unlocked to be able to modify my guns. So Intelligence isn't super important, but it is up to you how you want to use it. Agility. So agility, again, is one of those things that's kind of customizable. So Action Girl is one that's not necessary to the build. It does help. You want to have as much action points as you can. You want to be able to VETS critical as much as possible to heal your party. The AP regen helps you to replenish your action points whenever you don't get a proc off of your Grim Reaper sprint, which allows you. How I did that? Which allows you to refill your action points whenever you have a kill. But this allows you to do it whenever there's nothing around that you can kill at the time. So I prefer using Action Boy, Action Girl for helping with that. Covert Operative, obviously, you're going to be sneaking a lot, so you want that extra damage. You can still sneak and hit a queen for extra bonus damage, whatever you're fighting. It's very nice. Escape Artist, I believe this is probably a staple of any stealth build. Um, you being able to break line of sight with whatever you're fighting and then going into a crouch to have a chance of losing or going back into caution is very, very helpful. It lets you get back into sneak so you can keep getting your bonus damage from your covert operative. I would recommend this for any stealth build you are planning on running. It's very, very helpful. Gunfu is very nice whenever you're fighting multiple enemies. Whenever you kill one in VATS, it'll automatically switch to your next one. Plus, it'll give you a damage bonus against the next one. That's a very nice card to have. Just 1 star is good enough. If you really want to, you can go up higher, but I don't recommend it. The 10% damage, and it's just for not spending that additional cost whenever you're activating your VATS. So it's pretty nice to have. Adrenaline, we got 5 of that, and as you kill more things, it's going to help increase your damage. So you're going to be more useful in your damage, and kind of making up for being only one star on each of your commando cards. I usually don't have any trouble farming alone, or whenever I'm doing something like a Scorch Beast Queen, doing reasonable damage, even though I'm only running 30 of the 60% weapon damage cards. Sneak is kind of customizable. If you find that you're not being detected using 3-star sneak, go to 2-star sneak. If you're not having problems with being detected as a 2-star, go to 1-star. And that can give you an extra point to do whatever you want in agility as well. Originally, whenever I made this build, I was running 15 charisma and 10 agility. I switched that because I wanted the extra action points as well as a little bit of extra sneak. Higher agility allows you to be harder to detect, so I'm trying out the extra agility just to see how it goes. And so far I've liked it. I've liked the change. Even without the 15 charisma, with my unyielding stuff, I can still share any card, including Adrenaline 5, to my entire party, which is very nice, being able to help boost everybody's damage. And I'm going to talk about sharing cards here in a little bit. In luck, we have Bloody Mess. Obviously, it's very good for any builds, adding 15% extra damage. It's very good. Grim Reaper Sprint. Grim Reaper Sprint is very important to the build, especially for something like Scorch Beast Queens, or where there's going to be small enemies spawning, and you're going to be killing them to refill your AP bar, which also allows you to VATS critical and heal your party. So it goes very well with this build. I'd say this is one of the cards that is required for this build. You need to have a 3-star of this. Serendipity adds you a little health protection, allows you to avoid damage. With the 3-star, you have a 45% chance of avoiding all damage, and we're usually running right around the 30% or less mark whenever we're farming solo. Even if you're fighting something like Scorch Beast Queen and you're setting your health around 50%, whenever it drops low from getting hit randomly, you have a chance of avoiding the damage. It's great for survivability. I would say it's a very, very helpful perk, but you can take it off if you find you don't need it. If you're staying kind of out of the action and stealthy, you can drop it for say something like Tormentor for a Scorch Beast Queen, or 4-leaf Clover, which is an option to help you also fill your critical VATS meter and get more crit spamming to heal your party. Starch Genes, I use it all the time because I never want to accidentally pick up another mutation to screw up my mutations. Some people just put it on whenever they are removing their rads, but I prefer to keep it on all the time. And then Critical Savvy. Critical Savvy is also one of the cards that is a staple of this build. I would say it's probably close to a staple of a stealth character builds in general. Whenever you use a critical, you only consume 55% of your critical meter, which allows you to keep that extra 45% and usually about 2 to 3 shots later, you are back at a full critical bar and able to crit again. This allows you, with Grim Reaper Sprint and Critical Savvy and all your action points, it allows you to keep your AP full, keep your action point bar full, and just spam all the crits that you can to continue healing your party. I say this is a very, very important card. I would recommend this if you were planning on running this build or any stealth build just to get that maximum damage. And then we got Charisma. Charisma is very customizable depending on what you're doing. And some of these you can go down to 1 star on them instead of running 3 star. I had them set at 3 star when I was running at 15, so I'm just going to kind of go through the entire Charisma card set and just show what I use. Inspirational. Inspirational is great if you're in a party and you're trying to get levels. Whenever I was leveling the character, this was one of the first cards I unlocked up to 3 stars. I had people playing with me, leveling with me, and it was great being able to give my teammates an extra 15% XP if they have well rested. That's a 20% total bonus. If you get like the food bonus from Mama Dolce's, that's another 25% total extra possible XP gain. And if you happen to be leveling during a double XP, that goes on top of it. So you can basically get 75% additional experience. It's great for leveling quickly, picking up levels, helping out your teammates, or if you're starting as a group of friends, it lets you all level up just a little bit faster. It's a great perk to have early on in the game, and it's still even useful late on in the game whenever you find people that are level 50 trying to get to level 100 to finish their build. You can slap this on and help them get there just a little bit faster. Bodyguard is a very good card, but I found myself not needing it very much because I never really took much damage. You can share it for your teammates, but there are so many other great cards to share that I wouldn't recommend it. I would say that this is probably not something you would need in your builds. I just kind of chucked it on for the 1 star whenever we were running around doing a Scorchbeast Queen, and it was reasonable. Strange Numbers is a great perk. Allows you to, if you're in a party and your party members are mutated, you can jump higher, run faster. Basically, you double your positive mutations. Well, not double, 25%. It increases it, and you can share this card to make it where everybody in your party can do it. So it's an interesting card to share for certain situations. I do it a lot whenever we're like running through a nuclear silo or something like that. I'll share it so we can kind of move through it faster, reload faster, all that stuff. It's great. I really enjoy having this perk. Team Medic is something I would probably only run a 1 star of especially now that I only have 10 charisma. And this is why I said you want to kind of have a decent amount of stim packs. If you notice your team is getting hit a lot, have a couple people with low health, you can go ahead and use a stim pack on yourself, which as long as you're close enough to your teammates, will heal them as well. And it's pretty great. I have the 3 star just because I want the full strength. It's basically me stim packing my entire party. When you have 3 other people, that's great getting a 4-for-1 stim pack usage. Squad maneuvers is very nice. You get extra running speed whenever you are in a party. It's only really for you. Again, it's a great card to have, but it's not something you're going to share because there are so many other great options to share. Going into the rest of it, let's see here. EMT is pretty good. Whenever you revive players, again, this is something I was using at 3 star whenever I was at 15 charisma. Players you revive come back with high health regen for 60 seconds. It's very, very nice. I've noticed that it heals people very well just using the EMT card. I really liked it. but I mean, a person has to be down for it to be able to be good. If you are running with people that are not bloody builds, where they don't care about losing their rads, fighting in a maybe in a nuclear zone or something like that, and they go down, you can cure all their rads. It's a pretty interesting card. I wouldn't say it's necessary, but it's okay for very certain situations. And a lot of these cards, they are very situational on whatever you're planning on doing. Injector, it's okay, given the extra action point regen, and it does last a long time for 10 minutes. But it does mean that one of your teammates has to go down to get that bonus. I use it occasionally as a 1-star for people that were running bloodied stealth builds. Every once in a while they get hit, they go down. I would hit them with it, and it would give them a little bit of action point regen for pretty much the duration of whatever we were fighting. Lone Wanderer, you're going to use that whenever you're alone. Obviously, you might as well get the 4-star because when you're alone, your charisma cards become pretty worthless. So you have 10 charisma, you might as well use some of it. Lone Wanderer, it pretty much speaks for itself. It was good in Fallout 4, it's good in Fallout 76, and I would say it's worth using. Magnetic Personality, you can use it if you need more charisma, but if you're running the Unyielding setup, you really don't need it. Let's see what else we got. Rad Sponge. Rad Sponge is very good. If you're fighting in a nuke zone, if you're fighting a queen, you can share this stuff. I wish there was more situations where it was very good. I use it mainly in the nuclear reactor part of a nuclear silo, and if we happen to either be doing a nuke zone at White Spring or actually fighting the Scorched Beast Queen inside of the nuke because of where it was positioned. Those are usually the main places where I use it, but it is very helpful. You could just use the 1-star version. Again, I was switching cards in and out all the time whenever I was playing in a group, and I really liked being able to keep my teammates' rads down as long as they're not a bloody build and they want to keep the rads up. So Rad Sponge is very good. I'm not a fan of Suppressor. I've seen people run it. I'm not really looking to use points to decrease the damage of something. I want to increase my damage or my team's damage. Already went through Team Medic. Tenderizer. Tenderizers is another great one, and it's something you can share to help your team get more damage. It's great for things that have a lot of health, like the Scorched Beast Queen. You can share it to help them do more damage over a period of time. I had the 2-star because of how everything was kind of built and filled out. But you can go up to 3-star, and you can share this to help your teammates get a little more damage out of what they do. And that is all for the charisma cards. Those are the ones I would consider the best ones. And like I said, you can put 1-star in each one of the ones I listed and throw them on here and make the most out of your 10%. Inspirational is really not good during like a Scorched Beast Queen. Like I said, it's very situational on what you're playing, what you're doing at that time. You usually take a couple seconds to switch a couple cards in and out to make it where you want it to be. I do really enjoy this character, this build. It's very fun, and I'm going to talk more about that while I'm doing the gameplay and what I think about the build. But thank you for watching this part of it, and I'll be continuing to talk more about the builds during the live gameplay. So let's talk about the positive and negatives of the Combat Medic. The Combat Medic is very versatile, allows you to increase the damage of not only yourself, but also of your party. By sharing cards, basically any card in the game, you can help increase damage, increase survivability, or just make your teammates' lives just a little bit easier, as well as their survivability. I thought the best way to show this off would be by showing a little bit of a Scorch Queen fight. The Scorch Queen is by far the hardest enemy in the game. Has a very high health pool, very high damage reduction as far as being able to prevent the damage being dealt to it. It is a fight, and basically the only fight in the game where maybe a medic could be useful, being able to help revive people that are killed, not only just your party but other people as well, and being able to benefit from all the different cards that we talked about, healing your party with stim packs, giving people AP regeneration, short health regeneration, and other things, is very great. The downside to the combat medic is that is the only fight where it's actually useful. Unfortunately, there are not any other fights in the game where you could possibly use something like a utility character, a healer, somebody that their goal is not only just to do damage and kill whatever you're fighting as fast as possible, but to improve the basic function of the party. That is the major flaw of the medic build. Hopefully, as 76 continues to grow and as they add more content to the game, this will not be the case. I would like to see more fights like the Queen being added, so that classes are more useful. As you can see in the fight, as I was playing, I still had the 15 charisma build. I was adapting my build for whatever I was doing, and just kind of going through all my cards, making sure everything was set right. That is something that you can do at the beginning of every fight. But like I said, unfortunately, the medic is just not useful. Your damage is not very good, so you're gonna find yourself spending more bullets and more time whenever you're out farming solo. You're not always going to be in a party unless you have a group of friends, and this is your character that you play with those friends. Whenever you're out farming for caps, farming for legendaries to get scripts, you're going to find yourself using more bullets than necessary to kill things, because you're not set for doing the maximum amount of damage. So that's going to slowly weigh on what you're doing in the game. I cannot state enough how much I enjoy this build, being able to help my party, improve my party, make it easier for them to live, and kind of be the person that's going to revive everybody, and give benefits for doing so. But this is a build that I will probably be changing away from coming soon. I have a lot of pistols, and I want to make a pistol build, but unfortunately I'm at my 5 character cap, and my 5th character is just a mule. So since this is what I would consider my least useful at this time character, I will probably be doing away with it and changing it over to a pistol build. I already have a build in mind, and I'm going to do a video on it as well, but maybe whenever as the game grows, maybe in a year from now, as they add more fights, hopefully they add some more large-scale fights with large groups of people coming together to kill a boss like the Scorch Beast Queen, where I can consider revisiting this build. Again, I do think it's very fun. I've always liked being a support role in most games that I have played throughout my time, MMOs and non-MMOs alike. But right now, the game is just not supportive of this character in this class. Hopefully, as the game continues, it will be in the future. But I do hope that everybody enjoyed the build. If you have any questions about it, please leave a comment on YouTube. I will be posting more videos, more builds, and they will be more useful than the one that I posted today. I hate to say that I'm getting rid of this build, but maybe somebody was thinking about doing this, and we'll try it out now. Again, it's a very fun build, very interesting, and if you are a person that plays constantly with your friends, I would recommend it. But as far as solo goes, it is not the build that I would recommend. Anyway, thank you guys very much for watching. Please give me some likes, and follow me on YouTube and on Twitch. You can find me at Blue Phoenix Games, and I do live stream periodically, so please look for that as well. And I hope to see everybody for my next video. Have a nice day.